you're mentioning WAP because
I haven't watched this video.
Stop calling it that. WAP.
Do I need to watch this video? I need to.
So before we go there,
Not in a public place. Not in a public place, you little perv.
welcome to another episode of
All the time to me.
We cannot do that. We can't do that. Like, we can't get a word out. Like, this is crazy.
They know what show it is.
So last week we talked about
Didn't realize we were
relationships and friendships and different levels of friendships, and we were going to continue the conversation, which I had hoped, because we left it off at setting boundaries. And it's interesting that you mentioned WAP because the whole, you know, my thought for this week's topic too was this whole debacle of inclusion and diversity and who
the debacle of inclusion. It's a debacle.
It's a virtual I call it a debacle because I was like, you know, Cardi B responded to the hate online as not everything has to be about race. I did read a couple of articles where it said that, you know, she has a relationship with, oh my God, which one of the?
Kylie.
With Kylie.
I don't know what's happening right now.
We're gonna fill you in, Jennifer.
Fill me in.
I think maybe, but I'm not even worried about the race. Race was the issue. Oh, well, that's fair.
Well,
No.
I feel like this is one of those moments where I think that because we're in such a polarizing time in history, that people will make anything about everything when it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. That's where I stand. I personally love Cardi B. I think that I had like my opinion of her in the beginning because I felt like she was so
Cardi.
Like she was
Extra.
rough and
Cardi.
extra, and she was Cardi.
Cardi.
She was Cardi. However, the more that I learned about her story, how she got to where she was, and listen, and this is like that whole conversation, are you gonna like judge a person by their past and whatever? At the end of the day, she puts out tremendous entertainment.
Yeah, for sure.
She's like the definition of hustler. I mean, because that's what you have to be in that world.
Yes.
And you know, I also think that the way she handles like the hate that she gets online is just hilarious. And
she is wild.
She's wild. Like, she is literally everything that you're thinking and never want to like anyone to like disclose that you may have possibly had that
everything that you're thinking.
Like, she's like, well,
what you are thinking, but that's it. Now it's crystal clear. Now I understand. She's like, everything that I've been thinking.
Cardi is my spirit animal.
She's a vessel.
No, but I just said spirit animal, but so I read somewhere also that now the term spirit animal is considered divisive, and I'm like, oh my God. So what do you say? Okay, but let's start.
Right, yeah.
For people who don't know,
we were at the mall. We were shopping.
What's happening in the Cardi B world? I gotta know.
So the video comes out. I'm not familiar with. This is how old I am. Like, get the walker. I'm not familiar with the other artists. And this is no judgment. Okay, so let me rewind. I teach personal branding at Temple University in Philadelphia. I use Cardi B as an example of authentic personal brands.
Yes.
Understanding the space, living in your space, living in your own voice. Cardi is not trying to get a job at Lockheed Martin. So she's in a space where she can be her authentic self. And for that, I applaud her. Yeah. Whether or not I need all of the WAP myself personally doesn't take away from the right that she can drop it like she's hot and it can be as wet as she wants it to be. And she can, and that it serves a community, because Sheldon was dancing to Eazy-E when that was inappropriate. So this young group,
it's
right?
True.
So this young market has Cardi B, knock yourself out. I've graduated to another space for me mentally, but that doesn't necessarily mean that what she's doing is wrong. So to each his own in her own space.
100%, and I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I mean, success based on our authenticity. I'm not going to apologize for stripping. I'm not going to apologize for the ratchetness in which I live. Take it or leave it, I think is a beautiful celebration of your own personal brand. Now, how you choose to take it or watch it on public transportation, Jen, is up to you. But the video leads only a little bit to the imagination.
I'm signing off of this and watching the video.
You have
So
there's this whole, there are two there are two sides. There's a side that says the video celebrates women's sexuality, that it celebrates women's body, and if you're listening to the lyrics and you watching the video, you're literally like, because you can't look away. Well, you can't look away. And now Carol Baskin, in some, because they have tigers and lions and whatnot, made a statement that.
Why are we listening to this woman?
Don't listen to anything Carol Baskin has to say.
And I am sitting here like watching this, and I'm like, Carol.
And now we're gonna go to Carol Baskin.
Correct. Like what is happening right now? Like I'm sitting there having all of these kinds of thoughts and feelings about this video. And then there's another side that says that, you know, that it's too much, that it's way too provocative, that she's practically naked, that the lyrics of the song talk about, you know.
Here's my thing. If the video
talk about a lot.
If the video is too provocative, the song is too provocative, what have you, turn it off. Don't watch it. Don't listen to it.
Right, for sure. Now, here's the scenario. Because of the World Wide Web, there's very few boundaries or borders, right? Like back in the day, you know, MTV wasn't playing Gimme That Nut with Eazy-E. Like it wasn't like that thing, even though that was my jam in college. Right?
Well, and we lived through the whole
that was the thing, it was catchy.
We lived through the whole, you know, censorship era where literally, you know, it was everywhere. It was, I mean, even when you're trying to download music, now you have like that little E that says explicit.
You do. You definitely do.
Oh, like you can't miss it, that you're going into something that may be controversial or whatever it is. My thing, and I think it goes back to, you know, the comments that I read and the articles that I read about it, because I was just kind of dumbfounded. Like, why is this even news? Like,
why is it such a big deal?
Like, why is this even news? Like, it's a song, just like any other song that she's, I mean, whether it's worse or better, like, this is who she is. This is, like, what do you expect? Do you not already know who Cardi B is? Like, this is,
in all of her mixness.
This is her brand. This is what she does. Yeah. But I took issue with the hate given to the participation of other women in the video. Like at the end of it, here I am as a business owner analyzing the video and thinking like that was super smart. She put a Kardashian. On it. Like
wait, why were people
exactly
mad?
Like why are you mad?
But I think
why are you mad?
There's the sensitivity of the, you know, the adopting of a culture. But here's what my bougie ass is gonna say. that is not a definition of black. Why are we being defined? This is me. And again, this is me applauding Cardi B.
Excuse me, you as a black woman.
Yes, this is me applauding Cardi and all of the thisness and the water and the splashing and the whatever. I'd still have to be stretching. There's no way that I'd be able to participate in all of the things. And then now you're bringing in animals and you were in a hallway. Like there was so much going on and so little, like, the clothes alone just felt like string to me that would hurt in so many uncomfortable places. I had no interest. I put on my briefs and went to bed because there was just
I can't get out of my mind, and I'm gonna like literally take a picture to my, like, can we get that chain braid? Like, what is happening with the chain braid?
To me, but there's so many things we can talk about because there's one. Okay, so go back again. We're at the mall. We're shopping. So Kylie, right? Kylie in the space, there is a sense of the Kardashians as a whole owning things or cultural things that people believe that don't belong to them. Me, I personally think, and you know, I always kind of get into this space, into this deepness, but listen, there was a lot of doors we had to walk in the back. Now we're in the front and we have created aspiration. Correct. So little boys, and I mean, there's a lot of little boys of all shapes, sizes, and colors where their preferences will now have been changed based on the WAP scenario, right? I didn't know they came in that flavor. I didn't know it was that scenario, right? So there is a price to exposure. There's a price to sharing who we are, that there is going to be people who want to admire it. It is like the fake pocketbook of the scenario. And there is an admiration within that. So I recognize that as, because we are in a position, African Americans and community is in a position of affluence in that way, of prestige in that way, that we are aspirational, you are going to get that. You are going to get wanting these superficial things, the hair, that butt, the whatever it is that makes us naturally and genetically the way that we are built. There is an aspiration for it. It is in style. Yeah. There was a long time that was not, in fact.
100%. And then you had, I remember like going back to my, when you start to just look up to other women who make, because this is the importance of diversity, inclusion, and representation, right? Because this is at the core of what we're trying to get at, is that when you are in, when you have a child who is in an impressionable stage, they are looking to aspire to be or see people who look like them. And when there is no representation, then they have to adopt whatever is out there, right? I remember it wasn't until Selena, and if you're in the Latin community space and you understand Selena and have heard of Selena, until I saw the image of Selena, I never felt like there would be room for me. This was a curvy, tall, long black hair, and she looked like me. She looked like me, and people when I was younger would say to me, "You are shaped like so," and because she was revered, is when I began to see that, oh, so that means that I'm kind of pretty, okay.
That means that I'm attractive.
But that means that I have a place, right? And I think that in the end, that is what, because I have a huge, like, personal, I'm not in accord with this whole cultural appropriation situation, in the sense that I feel like if you want to let's just say that you decided to show up with braids one day here.
Yeah.
I'd be like, they look so pretty on you. Or, like, I don't see it as you trying to appropriate. I see it as you trying to, I don't know, style your hair a different way, or because you admire the, and I don't think it's like a cultural appropriation.
So,
I don't know. I feel like that.
But this is, I think, allow for me to explain, not that it changes anything, but I think that the scenario is culturally, and again, I speak for myself only, from a culture that has had so much taken from it.
Yeah, listen,
PTSD of it.
I grew up believing that I couldn't wear red lipstick because
who are you kidding?
That I couldn't wear red lipstick because when someone my color would wear red lipstick, it made them look like a hoochie or whoever, right? So, and it wasn't until I became an adult, and I actually wrote in my book about it, the power of wearing red. Because red is a super powerful, and I had to work myself up to that point to feel confident enough to wear red lipstick, because at some point it was frowned upon in my culture. Like I understand it. However, at what point do we begin? Because I think that where we're at in time, right, is that we want these conversations to be moving everyone forward. It's no longer about what you're taking or not taking. And listen, I get it. I'm not trying to minimize the experience of a person of color, but I also, like, when I see a white person trying to like, I actually thought about this yesterday as I'm making a Dominican meal for my husband. I said to him, I'm like, wow, you've adopted the culture. I love it. Like, he actually wants to sit and have a Dominican meal. So that makes me feel good and proud. I obviously have done a great job at extending, the things, and that's just with food. But I think that at some point we have to get ourselves to the place where it's no longer about the appropriation, but about the celebration. It's about the admiration of the culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then it has to be, the problem is the PTSD of the theft.
Yes.
Is a natural reaction, right? So it's not seen as a celebration because so many things have been taken in the past, right? So what happens is, and this is, I think, is a solvent to it.
Yeah.
So instead of only putting cornrows on the cover of whatever, or in the video of whatever, when it is worn by a white woman, we should be doing articles about the African braider and the origin of the cornrow. And then everybody can celebrate it. But
giving away my fashion issues, stop it.
Not specifically, I'm saying systematically.
Oh, I get it.
Because what happens is the association with the origin of those things gets allocated where it did not originate from.
Where it doesn't belong.
And so that becomes the scenario. If it was, oh my gosh, if it was literally, I want to have hair like Beyonce, not I created this new hairstyle. That is the fundamental issue. If it was a celebration, to your point, and that I think is really about all of us who are media producers, right? Going and finding the source, because everybody wants to make Dominican food. Everybody wants to eat food with seasoning, number one. Everybody wants to eat food that's, right? They do. But as long as we know what the story is, which is why, a lot of the individuals who are making, a lot of guys they have the taco trucks, but you're German, but you got the taco truck, and we're mad at the taco truck. But it is a celebration, but it needs to be an authentic space. You need to tell the story. People need to understand that you lived in this nation.
Stop sending me tequila for Christmas, people. Stop it. But to the point of what you're saying, though, really, because I'm Dominican. But just to clarify, to the point of what you're saying, because I want to tie it back to the origin of the conversation with the whole WAP and Kylie walking through, and I don't know the name of the other girl who's dancing, and she has, but the thing is, that's where the I guess the upset was that the Black woman has to do more work to get the same amount of recognition and da-da-da. However, when I watched the video, I can't imagine Kylie moving that way. Like I don't know.
I don't think she can.
But this is why I don't think she can dance like that. So I was like, I don't know.
Again, the natural PTSD is Kylie's overshadowed. Kylie's in there for a minute. Like
literally,
why
like
are we talking about this girl? Like why are we?
I remember
why are we?
I was like, whoa! All right.
It was a month. Like I applaud Cardi for the money move to say my audience also likes Kylie.
Brilliant.
I'm gonna bring her in just to trickle it in, so those media outlets who may never pick me up, will pick up the whole, and it worked. And it worked. We as a community again are in a space where it's like, why can't
that leads me to
an
important point that you're making is that people need to understand that media is a machine. It is a machine that works, and it is a money move, and it works in different, and that was strategic. Listen, that was strategic. Cardi, people think that Cardi's stupid.
Cardi's a lot smarter than people think.
People think that she's stupid.
She's not stupid
at all. At all.
Toe to toe.
Let me just
any Forbes,
just saying.
Cardi, if you're listening, we want you on the.
We love you.
We do. We love you.
I love her. I love her.
With you and your daughter.
Love her.
And Offset, everybody.
Baby, all of it. I do. It's an applause to her. It is. And the hustle. Just because. I don't consume it doesn't mean I don't respect it, because I do respect it, and and I had another conversation with another correspondent, and they were like, oh God, I'm offended. And listen, ultimately, I get it. I understand. And shout out to Kath. I love you, Kath. But it's a lot. If you are even in the slightest bit of prude, it is a lot. But there's a community that consumes.
There's a community for that wants part two.
Right. It wouldn't have been on MTV.
Yes.
shout out to MTV. It wouldn't have been on MTV. It wouldn't have been in that space. But at the same time, now that we're in the digital space, it is a viral thing. I think that applauds to her for creating music that only men used to make and give permission to make. Men were allowed to talk about putting it in this and putting it in that, and it wasn't even an issue. Women, we have to be embarrassed about the scenario, and she's like not having it.
And that is the whole video. Is literally her like. Oh my God! Oh, like we went there, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was super smart.
Money. Politicians are watching it. Everybody would never
Cardi on
watch it.
Instagram, because that's really like when she goes on her tangents. I literally live for those moments because she's she is just the most authentic personal brand ever. The moneymaker. Again, we are a united community, and we would say, oh my goodness, why is Kylie in that space? Because of the defense mechanism that we have for the space. No one on the other end, or the Jenners or the Kardashians, will be like, why was Kylie used? Because that's what she was. Exactly.
She was used to be put in that video to get clickbait. And that's it. And
anyone watching who still doesn't because here I think it's important that we point out what we're trying to do, and the effort is to it's kind of like demystify these topics with media and whatnot, because people really do. Trust me, like some people believe like this is just like, oh my God, like this is thought out.
Money.
This is produced.
The amount of meetings.
Strategic. This is the amount of
meetings. Like we have a happy hour, we got 10 meetings. You don't think that there was 7 million production meetings for that damn thing? And
100
filming for 3 weeks? Yeah. Like, give me a break. But also, I'm gonna go to another part of the mall real quick. Yeah. I love music videos. Yeah. I've always loved music videos. Like the story of a song. Yeah. The fact that we've got stylists back at work, we got the video producers back at work. Like that was a huge industry that just disappeared.
Yes.
Right? And so I applaud more. Give me more music videos. Now we all stuck at home. Give me more music videos. Tell me a story. I used to watch The Box. Do you guys even know what that was? It was like a video story. Like it was, people would be able to make and do on-demand like videos. You could like make requests as to what video. I'm old. Shut up, Jen. Right? So Jen's like, oh, poor Sheldon. The Box. Oh, did you? Shell with the rotary phone? How'd you?
My children don't even know what that is. She probably doesn't even know.
I know what a rotary phone is.
Like CDs.
I know what a landline is, guys.
Okay, ma'am.
CD.
I know what a CD is. Do you guys know how old I am? I mean, I'm not 12. Amanda might not know what a rotary is.
I live vicariously through you. Anyway, I'm like, she's so youthful. She looks like she doesn't have to stretch.
Listen, Cardi is around our age, and she does, and she
dropping it.
Like,
look at J-Lo. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And with that, last words.
Last words is shout out to Cardi. Keep doing your thing. Your audience belongs to you. It is not for everyone. Because of the World Wide Web, everybody got a piece of it, but it is not for everyone. And as it relates to Kylie, that was a money move, in my opinion. I don't think that it intentionally was a slight in any type of way. It was to increase the exposure of the video.
100%. And I commend them for all doing what media is intended to do. They did an amazing job. Look at us. We're even talking about it. So.
Yeah.
With that, watch the video.
You need to go watch.
Jen, get involved.
I'm gonna text you.
Get in the loop. Damn it.